Hey guys, Evans with Z111 here today, bringing you another EVlog. This one, I will quickly say at the beginning, is going to be much more serious about the previous one, so if you're here for light-hearted conversation and banter, then don't be, because this one is going to be about the topic of death, which is taboo in everyday conversation, and even YouTube. I know very few YouTubers who have talked about death and their views on death, because it's the sort of thing you don't want to talk about it to people, because they're very sensitive about the topic. And I'm not different from those people. I am sensitive about it myself. If someone brings it up, it's not the sort of thing I laugh off and say, oh, who cares? I mean, I don't know if anyone does that, but it still feels as though it's the sort of thing where people are kind of scared of giving their opinion because it feels like they're scared of admitting their opinion. My opinion, much like everyone else's, is that after death there's this big void that nobody really knows what's there. There could be something there, but we have no evidence for what's there. There's no scientific proof of what could be there, so right now I believe there's nothing there. That's a horrible way of looking at it, but I guess that's why a lot of us fear it. So I will say this much. In one of the previous EVlogs, I had a nightmare where my big brother moved out of his bedroom and it became my bedroom. I didn't have to sleep with my other brother anymore. I got this whole bedroom for myself and it was fantastic. But I had a nightmare there where I looked out the window and I saw this figure floating towards the window, and I always... It was like the Grim Reaper's big cloaked figure that was just floating through the air. It terrified, it shook me up so much to the point where I couldn't sleep in that bedroom for 2 or 3 years. It traumatized me, I want to say, to make it overly dramatic. And it made me realise, like, a lot of nights after that happened, I thought about what does come after life. Because death is the be-all, end-all of anything and everyone, and that is a big fear. Because it feels as though every single second of your life you're getting closer to the thing that's gonna kill you. It's like if you imagine there's this big fire and everyone's just walking towards it and they can't stop walking towards it because you see it, yet you know death's coming. Everyone knows death's coming, there's no way around it right now, hopefully that changes. But still, we just continue going towards it. And a lot of people, it does overwhelm them to the point where they're so terrified of it happening, they're so terrified of the fact that it's gradually coming, that some people do feel as though they would rather take their own life and willingly accept death than to just walk into it and wait for it to come to them, if that makes sense. And I think the fact it has the power to make people want to do that, the fact it has the power to drive some people to depression if they know a family relative who has died or experienced death themselves, it is one of the most powerful forces in the world, not in the world, in the universe. Planets die, stars die, the most powerful things we know to man. The most powerful things we know, full stop, die. Everything dies. It's like the villain of life, and it is feared for a reason. So if I try to get into detail, I do try to think about it in detail. I try to think of what death could be like. Everybody tries to envision death. They try and give it this kind of image just so we can relate to it, so we can understand it a little bit more. But nobody succeeds. We create things like the Grim Reaper, we create things like hell, or we believe in things like hell, I should say, rather. And all of it is kind of a coping mechanism for this concept of death. And I don't think we'll ever understand it. I honestly don't. I don't think there's any point where we will say, okay, death is simply a matter of this, and it can be fixed by doing this, or what happens after is this. It's just this big wall in understanding in life and everything that we can't see past. Maybe once people get over the wall, through the wall, or around the wall, and that's when they die, then maybe they can see the other side of it. Maybe they can see what's there, which I suppose represents the other side, as a lot of people refer to it. But us on this side, we can't see that. And it does tie in with religion a lot. I mean, people, or Buddhism, have the belief of reincarnation, which I believe is a really nice way of looking at it. Christianity do believe in heaven and hell, which is, again, it gives them reason to live a fulfilling life, so that they can work towards something, and it doesn't provide incentive to live, but it makes the concept of death less scary. But honestly, I I can't see that. I can't see any of that. I want to believe in it, but believing in it because you want to isn't the right reason to believe in something. You should believe in something because you do genuinely believe in it. So, whilst I do believe in something on the other side of that wall, I don't know what it is. And everybody has their own views on it. It's like, I tweeted about this the other day, weirdly enough. I wasn't planning on bringing this in. But a lot of people try and look at what's on the other side of a wall and then say whatever's there provides the meaning for life and why life exists, because they are binary, they do contrast, there's life and there's death. So having something on the other side and knowing what's there gives you a reason to be on this side and eventually go over to the other side, which again leads me back into reincarnation, karma, and heaven and hell, which is sinning and not sinning, essentially. So, what was I going to say? One moment. Oh yeah, meaning of life. I personally believe that there is no set, clear-cut, cookie-cut meaning of life. The meaning of life, if you do want to force a meaning upon it, is to find your own meaning of life. It's to find your own purpose. It's to get a purpose and to fulfill it. I don't know what the hell that was. To fulfill it. And for some people, that's making others happy. For some people, it's becoming rich, and then that makes them happy. For some people, it's having a family and leaving a legacy. For some people, it's leaving a message. For some people, it's changing the world for the better. For some people, it's changing it for the worse. But if they find that meaning to live, then suddenly what's on the other side of a wall isn't as important, because what's here on life's side, is the focus. That's what you're working towards. You're not working towards something that's not only inevitable, but unknown. You're working towards what you do know. And that is, this suddenly got very philosophical, but that is the key to living a fulfilling life. It's to have a purpose and to stick to it, to believe in it. And you don't need to believe in what's on the other side of a wall, on what's in the afterlife. You need to believe in what does exist and what's important to you. So I think that's my workaround, I guess, to my biggest fear, or one of my biggest fears, which is death. It's to focus on what we do have, focus on life, and focus on what the point of it is, and what we're trying to do. What's the point of waking up every morning? Answer that question, and then suddenly, yeah, just everything else doesn't matter as much. It's still there, it's still a force, but you're distracting yourself every day, and you're doing something useful with your time too. So that's the best way you can live your life, in my opinion. Could be wrong. If it's wrong, let me know. If you think you know what's on the other side of a wall, or if you've been there, or have any stories to tell, or have any experience with anyone who's been there, then let me know too, because I think the supernatural is a big element here that I haven't touched on, but that's a whole video altogether, so I won't touch on that. I'm just trying to stick to the facts this time around, because generally supernatural aren't backed with facts, even if there is evidence. So yeah, this is me, Evans with Z111. I hope you don't mind this more serious approach on a vlog, and I am really curious to see your thoughts. Remember to be understanding of other people's opinions, because this is a sensitive topic. Some people believe strongly in it, some people are terrified of it, so you should respect that even if you do have your own strong opinions. But boring stuff aside, please rate if you enjoyed the video, let me know if you have any ideas for future vlogs, and yeah, this is me, Evans with Z111, and this is me out. Peace.